All right, guys, and you can see Edith is in the background here. She's joined me in the studio today. Cool. Okay, so you guys can thank Sue for this next class because Sue put in a special request asking for some isometric work. So guys, if you aren't familiar with it, you've probably done it, but maybe you didn't know there was a name for it. So isometric work is basically when you are contracting your muscles, but there's no actual movement happening. So almost if you classically think of a plank position, like holding a push-up position, that's considered isometric. So it's great for stabilizing joints, any kind of stability work that comes in with the isometric. But also, sometimes it's really difficult for our brains to recognize certain muscles. Like you guys might experience that, like some people's bums don't like to fire up and, other muscles. And so if you incorporate a little bit of isometric work, it gives the brain a chance to connect to that specific muscle. It just forces you to slow down, find the connection. And then what you'll find is when you start moving again, that you feel it maybe much more intensely, or it kicks in a little bit more readily. So there's a lot of value in doing the isometric work. And it's quite interesting because in yoga, you find that there's a lot more isometric work because they hold postures, right? They'll go into a posture and they stay there for 3 breaths or 5 breaths. And in Pilates, we don't necessarily do that. So it's a lovely way to almost like interweave the two again as well. All right, cool. I see Carrie's just coming on board. Let me just let her into the class. Okay, so guys, the usual. You just need your mat. If you would like to have a pillow or a folded up towel on hand for yourself, you're welcome to have that on hand. But otherwise, you don't need any other specific props today. All right. Is everybody ready to get going? Any questions before we start? All good? Okay, fantastic. All right. Morning, Carrie. You ready to go? All right. So guys, I want you to please come into a standing position. I'm just going to angle my camera a little bit that way. Make sure that you guys can see me clearly. I think that looks good. And I want you to come and stand towards the back end of your mat. Separate your feet. Line up your big toes. Just let your arms settle beside you. Lift your chin so that you're looking straight forward towards the horizon. And then just take a moment to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And then start to rock gently forwards and backwards. And obviously we want to keep it quite small so that you don't feel that you're going to lose your balance. But as you rock forwards and backwards, just notice how the front of your body and then the back of your body engages to help you stay upright, to not fall over. And then center yourself on the arches of your feet. And now shift a little bit from side to side. It doesn't have to be a massive movement. Shifting from right foot to left foot. And maybe notice now how your obliques, how the sides of your body start to connect to help you stay upright and balanced. And then come to the center, standing evenly on both your feet. Spread your toes out. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh. And then you're going to blink your eyes open. Both arms reach out and up. Inhale, connecting each fingertip to its partner. Exhale, open your arms nice and wide. And now we're going to go into our first roll down. Look down towards your toes, feeling that articulation of your spine. And you can go as low as you want to, but double check that you're not locking the knees back. And when you reach your bottom position, just pause for a moment. Relax the back of your neck. Notice where you're feeling the stretch today. Take another breath in. And then exhale, back up you come using abdominals, rooting into your feet, and coming all the way up and tall. Focus your gaze, roll your shoulders back and around for a moment. And then just allow your scapula to settle on the back of your body. Soft knees, both arms reach out and forward. We start to scissor the arms, so one arm up, one arm down. And we're just using this as an easy but very effective way to warm up the shoulder girdle. So you're moving your hands and arms through space. You can feel that there's almost a rolling action of the arm bone inside the socket. And then notice how there's a gliding action of your scapula on the back of your ribs. Let's just take two more. Ribs are nice and soft. One more. Bring both arms straight forward and then releasing the arms down. Inhale, both arms reach up, connecting fingertips. Exhale, open arms. And into our second roll down, nod your chin. Feeling that articulation of your spine as you start melting all the way forward. Go as deep as your body allows. Pause there, relax the back of your neck. And then maybe you need to shift your body weight. Maybe you need to come a little bit forward to find that lower ab connection. Take a breath in. And then exhale, unravel your spine, rooting into your feet, abs connected, engage the back line of your body, coming all the way up. And once again, roll your shoulders back and around. And then letting your arms settle. Now, bend your knees as both arms come forward, and then straighten your knees, and up you come. And again, reach. So it doesn't have to be a very deep movement right now. We're just maybe getting a little bit of stretch into the Achilles tendons and the calves. You're double checking the tracking of your knees going straight forward. And now, let's do a little bit of downhill skiing. You're gonna love this, hey? All the way from Austria, there you go. And press back up. And again, you're counterbalancing, fingertips forward and pelvis reaching back. Double check the tracking of your knees and double check that you have the abdominals connected and your heart lifted. Now, here comes one of our first isometrics. Bend your knees and we're going to stay here. Just shift your body weight a little bit forward to your toes. You notice how the quadriceps wake up? Shift your body weight a little bit backwards to your heels. Can you feel the gluteals wake up? Stay there. Stay breathing. Abdominals connected. This is isometric work. So waking up the lower body, abdominals, energy through fingertips, and see if you can create length along your spine. We stay here for 3. We stay here for 2. We stay here for 1, and then press up, and all the way up you come. We inhale, reach up. Exhale, open arms wide. Nod your chin, and start peeling forward. Just feel the weight of your arms. Feel how the scapula glide wide. Coming all the way forward, and you hold. Let's just bend the knees a little bit. And then straighten your legs so that you can start to focus on getting a stretch up the back of the legs. Bending knees. Make sure that your fingertips are supporting you either on the floor, or if you need to, you can hold on to your shins. But don't let your arms just hang in space. Make sure you've got some kind of support through the hands. And one more time, bending knees. Lifting hips up, stretch. And now bend your knees and start to walk yourself all the way forward. And you're going to keep your toes tucked under. Getting your wrists into a happy place. Spread your fingers out. Long spine, and on your next breath, we're going going to lift our knees just up off the ground. So this is called a 4-point hover. This is a prerequisite for our plank position. Another isometric movement where we are stabilizing all the major joints of the body. Taking 3 more breaths in and out. Keep rooting into your thumb and forefinger, by the way. Remember, that's the weight-bearing portion of our wrists. And then on your next breath, release the knees down and release the feet all the way out. Taking your left arm and extend it to the side. Coming into a thread the needle, either on the forearm or you can keep going all the way through. Just getting into that lovely rotation of the spine. And you can stay here, or what feels good for me is to reach my right arm overhead. Because that's going to give me a little bit of an extra stretch or release into the lats, the latissimus dorsi. You can also put your hand into your lower back if you want. And then on your next breath, bring that right hand in, and now come all the way up and reach the left arm out to the side. We're going to hold it here. Now again, this is an isometric exercise. Nothing is moving, but can you feel the loading, the connecting of all of those muscles? So you're probably going to be feeling around the abdominals, the obliques, and hopefully you'll be feeling these muscles around the right shoulder called the serratus anterior. So you really need to focus on pushing away from the floor with that right hand to get the connection. And then bringing that left hand all the way in. Right hand reaches to the side. Thread the needle. Settling yourself. Finding your breath. And then if you would like, you can stretch the left arm overhead or you can place it into your lower back. Staying for just a few more moments. Keep breathing. And then slide your left hand all the way back in. Press up and reach the right arm out to the side. So again, we're coming into our isometric hold. This is a 3-legged table. So find your connections into the obliques and the abdominals. So it's that feeling of flattening your belly underneath you, pressing away from the left hand so that you're waking up serratus anterior along that left shoulder girdle. Taking one more breath in, and then exhale and placing both hands down. Tuck your toes under. We're going to transition into a downward facing dog here. So lift your knees up, move your hips up and back. So remember the first down dog, I really emphasize keeping the knees bent. And then you can start to pedal the heels one at a time. Reaching through the heels. Finding that stretch into the calf muscles, the Achilles. And then send both heels towards the ground. And we're going to hold it here for a moment now. And again, because we're not moving, you might be feeling quite a lovely stretch along the back of the legs, but there's going to be some loading, some work along the arms, the shoulders, and the spine. So once again, we are coming towards an isometric exercise right here. Really focus on the connections of your hands and your feet to the ground and allowing the rest of your body to suspend itself in between. Take a breath in, and then exhale, lower your knees all the way down, and release your feet out. Open your knees nice and wide, big toes touch, sit back, and coming into a resting position. So make your hips and your knees and feet settle first, then get your head on the floor. If your head isn't touching the floor, then put a cushion or a block underneath. And then see if you can walk your hands just a little bit forward and maybe press up onto the tips of your fingers. So you're really intensifying the stretch underneath the arms and along the front of the shoulder. And then you can even do a little bit of a rocking action from side to side. Getting a little bit of a stretch along the lats and the serratus. Those are the muscles we were just waking up with our three-legged table position. And then center yourself and allow your hands to come down. Take a breath in, exhale, and again, draw yourself up onto all fours. And now just make sure that you've got some space behind you. I'm quite close to the wall, so I'm going to just come a little bit forward here because we're going to be stretching our legs out behind us. Take your right leg, stretch it back. Take a moment to level out your pelvis and your shoulders, and then lift your leg up without collapsing into the lower back. Flex your foot so you're pushing energy through the heel, but we're going to stay here. This is isometric work. Now we're doing a couple of things. We are engaging the back line of the body, and a reminder that the gluteus maximus, this bum cheek, is actually not part of the back line of the body. We kind of assume it is, that it's part of the side line. So we're engaging the back line of the body, and we're waking up gluteus maximus. Take another breath in. Exhale and see if you can lift your leg up a little bit higher without collapsing into the lower back. Keep your pelvis level and just externally rotate from the hips slightly like a ballerina, but don't let your whole pelvis roll. And now stay here. Can you feel gluteus maximus a little bit more? Okay, good. Even if I'm not the only one, yeah? Stay here for that isometric contraction. Nice, easy inhale. And then exhale as you de-rotate and bring your leg just back to level. Point your toe, ballerina. Round your spine, pull knee to nose. Extend, reach back, and can you wake up the bum? Round your spine, knee to nose. Extend back. Wake up, gluteus maximus. And again, two more. So hopefully after that isometric work, you can feel the gluteal switch on a little bit more readily. Stretch back and hold it, and then bring that knee all the way in. Round your spine like a cat. Sit your hips halfway back. Press up onto the tips of your fingers, so you're giving your wrists and hands a little bit of a break. And then if you want to, let's do some little trampoline movements. One more. Place both hands flat, come forward, and lengthen out your spine. Left leg extends back. Find your alignment. Lift your leg up without collapsing the lumbar spine, and then flex your foot. So you're holding a straight line from the back ankle to the knee to the hip, to the shoulder to the ear. Stay with your breath. Lovely isometric contraction, back line of the body plus gluteus maximus. And now lift your leg a little bit higher if you can. Give me external hip rotation without twisting the pelvis. So we're really focusing on gluteus maximus now. Stay here and breathe. Let your brain recognize where that bum cheek muscle is. Taking one more second, de-rotate, bring your leg level, point your toe ballerina, round your spine, knee to nose. Stretch your leg back. Can you wake up gluteals? And again, round your spine. Stretch back. 2 more. Stretch back. 1 more time. Stretch back, hold it. And bring that knee all the way in. Round your spine. 1 more time to go into a cat stretch. Move your hips back. Push up onto the tips of your fingers. And we pulse. Release hands flat and bring yourself forward and return to neutral. Tuck your toes under. You're going to hover your knees just above ground. Move your left hand to the middle of your mat under your nose. Pivot your feet, your knees, your pelvis, and then when you have your balance, see if you can lift the right arm up so you are facing sideways and we're holding an isometric star crank position. Focus on pushing out of the left arm. Guys, if it's hurting your wrists or hurting anything else, you make the modifications you need. If you need to go down onto your elbow or your knees, that is absolutely fine. Take another breath, look down, and then de-rotate. Placing both hands flat, and then take a moment to lower the knees down. You're going to keep the toes tucked, and just push away from your hands so that you get a little bit of a stretch around your feet, the soles of your feet, and there should be very little pressure on your hands right now. Amazing how that isometric work gets your heart rate up. And now, letting your body weight come forward. Set yourself up for the other side. Hover your knees. Move your right hand under your nose. Rotate feet, knees, hips. Find balance. And then reaching up to the left arm. Keep pressing away from the floor. So remember the lats and serratus connection. They've got to kick in here. So do the obliques. Keep breathing. And then turn your head to look down. Bring yourself all the way back to the center. Lower the knees. And once again, move your hips back so that you get a little bit of a stretch along the soles of your feet. Release. Open your knees wide. Big toes touch. And once again, settle back into your resting position. You can walk your hands forward again, and then this time, walk both your hands over to the right side of your mat. Bring the left hand close to the right hand, and then you can stay here in this little bit of a lateral flexion of the spine, or you can do the same rolling action of the shoulders if that feels good. Center yourself. Start to walk your hands over to the left side. Let your shoulders and your head move with you. And then find your lateral flexion and decide on this side if you want to do that rolling action or not. Connect your movements to your breath. And center, bring yourself back to the middle, and now this time walk your hands to your knees and unravel your spine so that you're coming all the way upright. So we're going to turn sideways. I'm going to face towards you and I'm going to do a mirror image. So I want you to have your right shin in front. left shin to the side. And let's maybe do a few of the little seaweed actions that I love so much. And then putting your right hand to the ground, doing one more stretch up and over, and then sitting in a lengthened spine. Take a look at your hand that's on the floor. Your fingertips should be pointing away from you, and then you're going to bend that elbow and you're going to salute. Now let your shoulder hunch up and then press away. So again, you're just feeling out what your scapula is doing on the back of your body. This is your opportunity to adjust your seated position if you need. And then press away and hold it there. Now you need to glue the scapula in place. Bend your elbow, so you're going to start doing some little tricep push-ups on the one side. Adjust your hand, your wrist, and your elbow position so that it works for you. We're going to do another 3. Press away. 2. Press away. 1. Press away. Now bend your elbow halfway and stop. Nothing's moving. This is isometric work, and I'm sure that you guys are starting to feel that tricep muscle at the back of the arm here. Yeah, I think most women, one of the things that they put down on their assessment forms is that we need to work their triceps. So this is a great way to focus on the back of the arm and to build that upper body strength. Stay here for another 3, 2, 1. Straighten, and now we're going to do 5 more moving. So bend and press. It's probably kicking in quite nicely now, if I'm not mistaken, yeah? 3 more. If this is too much on your shoulder, by the way, you can put your hands apart. Last one. And press up. Hold on to the outside ankle. Do a long stretch over. Bend your elbow just to allow that arm to hang floppy. You can turn your hip if you want to. Take a breath in, and then coming all the way up. Swing your legs around. So once again, into this mermaid seat. Make the adjustments that you need, and a little bit of side-to-side movement here. And even doing this now, I can feel that tricep. Let's do one more time each way. And placing your left hand to the floor, one more stretch, and then just straighten both your arms. Take a look at your hand that's on the floor, fingertips pointing away, square yourself to the front, and salute. So we're just gonna hunch the shoulder up, and then press away. So you're finding that gliding action of the scapula behind you. Finding the connection into the serratus anterior muscle. We've done a few isometric exercises for it already. Last one. Press up and hold it. Now glue the scapula. Start to bend the elbow, little tricep dip, and press up. So guys, there's no right or wrong about how big or how small you make this movement. At any point, if you feel that you're compensating or cheating, then maybe contain the movement a little bit. We're going to do one more time. Make any adjustments you need to your position. And now bend your elbow halfway and we stop. Isometric contraction for the triceps muscle at the back of the upper arm. Holding it here, make sure that you're still breathing. Guys, remember options. You can move this arm if you need to. And taking one more breath in and out. Press up to straighten, and then let's do 5 more dips. 5. And up you go. Good. And I'm sure your brain is recognizing that muscle beautifully now. 3 more. And press. 2 more. And press. 1 more. Press up, hold it. Grab onto the outside shin. Lift up and over. And then just let that arm bend. So you're getting a little bit of a release for that tricep. Feel free to turn your head if you need. Inhale. And all the way up you come. Pivot so that you're going to be sitting on your bottoms. And maybe come a little bit forward on your mat. And we're going to go into our half roll back. So arms extended. Take a breath in. Exhale, curl back. Just to the point that you feel a connection into your abdominals. Little inhale. And exhale, forward. Lift up tall. And again, draw the tailbone underneath you. Pause for a moment. And then exhale. Lift up. Last 2, draw back. So we're waking up the abdominals, we're mobilizing the spine. Lift up. And on this last one, we're going to be staying here, no movement. Yet again, isometric work, this time focusing on abdominals. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. And then turn your gaze inwards so you really notice what's happening with your own body. What's happening with your breath. What's happening with the connections between the two. Letting your brain recognize the muscles that are working. Double check for yourself that your lower back isn't taking strain. If it is, then maybe you need to hold on with your hands. Maybe you need to come up a little bit. Taking 1 more breath in and out. Open your eyes. Go down onto the floor. You can help yourself if you need. And just let your arms settle beside you. Walk your feet a little closer. So you're still going to have the feet slightly separated. If you've got any tightness around the side of the leg, feel free to move your legs a bit wider if that's what you need. Ready for a pelvic curl. On your breath, tilt your hips, rolling your hips up into a bridge position, getting that lift from the base of your pelvis. Take a little inhale, and then exhale, and you get to ripple down through the spine and release. Adjust your position if you need. And again, rolling hips up. A little bit of a lift from the gluteals and opening at the front of the hip. And roll down. See if you can keep your head and your neck nice and easy. Last 2, tilting hips. Rolling up into your bridge position. Inhale at the top. And ripple down. And release. This is the last one. Take a breath in. Exhale, rolling up. Now you know what we're going to do here, right? Stay here, and again, you are welcome to close your eyes. We're just going to be staying here for 8 breaths in and out. Isometric bridge position. Noticing the support, the work from the underside of your body, the back of your body. Noticing the opening and release at the front of your body. Soften your neck, relax your throat. Taking 2 more breaths in and out. You guys feel those gluteals firing up? Yep. And sometimes we just come out of this so quickly, we don't have a chance to really feel it. Open your eyes, and you get to ripple down through your spine, imprint, and release. Nicely done. Now walk your knees and your feet right next to each other. Take the arms a little bit wider than your mat, and then you're going to pick up your right thigh and cross it over the left thigh. So we're just going to roll the knees to the left and look to the right. And I just want you to stay here. So this is now coming into a stretch. This is mobilizing the spine. So even though we're holding this position, it's not an isometric movement because we're not contracting muscles right now. So you might feel a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of lengthening, but there's a difference between this and an isometric hold, which is contracting the muscles. Take a breath in. Exhale, use abdominals to draw back to the center and then holding it here. Bring both knees up into your chest, hands on your knees, and then if you want to intensify the stretch, move your hands a little bit lower, down towards your ankles or shins. Just stay here for a few more moments while you enjoy the stretch. And again, we're not moving, but it's not an isometric hold because we are stretching as opposed to contracting. On your next breath, release. Unwind your legs, hug your knees to your chest, tuck yourself into a tight little ball shape, and now just do little mini rollings. Do a little kick with your feet if you want. So you're just basically rolling over your kidneys and your lower back. And then come back to center and relaxing all the way down. Put your right foot to the mat, left thigh crosses over, arms nice and wide. Roll your knees to the right and look to the left. So again, getting that release across your lower back. Chest open, shoulders and arms down. And again, I feel a very strong stretch across my lower back when I do this, but just take a moment to notice where you might be feeling it. It could be very different, right? Take an inhale, and then exhale, come back to the center, using abdominals as you come all the way back. Bring your knees up, hands on your knees. And then would you like to move your hands a little bit lower just to intensify the stretch for yourself? Ooh, feeling that piriformis today. A few more seconds. And then release. Hug your knees all the way in. Tuck yourself into that little ball shape. And then once again, just a little miniature rolling across your lower back and your kidneys. And then relaxing all the way down. So you're going to place your feet onto the ground. Bring both your hands up towards the sky. Turn the palms of your hands forward. Now you want to have your wrists and your elbows nice and straight. Start to move the arms overhead, but you want to keep the rib cage closed at the front. So you might not be able to take your arms very low. It actually doesn't matter. See if you can hover them above the ground and stay here. Once again, this is isometric work. Now, can you feel how these muscles that connect from the back to the arm are working? That's the latissimus dorsi. So as we took the arm overhead, it was working eccentrically. And now that we're just holding the arms there, we're asking them to work isometrically. Keep breathing. And it's quite amazing how heavy your arms start to feel after a few moments. So if you feel like you need to take the arms a bit wider or bring them up a little bit, by all means do so. Now, Take a breath in, and on your breath out, lift your arms, tuck your chin, and curl head and shoulders forward. So you're now hovering your arms. Can you feel the lats connected? Take a breath in, and exhale, back you go. And the arms reach overhead. And do you have an awareness of those lats? And again, inhale, arms, chin. Breathe out, energy through fingertips. Can you feel your upper body engaging? And then releasing. And reach it back. 2 more. Inhale, chin, exhale. Take a breath. And releasing down. 1 more time. Little surprise for you. Inhale, lift arms, chin in, exhale, and I'm going to ask you to stay here. Sweep your hands all the way around. Place your hands underneath your head for support. You can interlock them. And now we are holding our chest lift. Can you feel, as soon as you move your arms from here and brought them back, how it loaded the abs? Because you've moved your lever away from the center of your body. Keep sliding the ribs forward. We stay, we breathe, we flatten those abdominals, taking 1 more breath in and out. And then exhale, you just get to lower head and shoulders down. And you're going to press those elbows all the way back. Nicely done, guys. Take a second to breathe here. But from here, we're going to do a little bit of obliques. So float your elbows up. We're going to come up into a chest lift and hold. Bring 1 knee up to tabletop. Bring the other knee up to join it. Stretch your left leg forward and do a little rotation towards the right. And then switch to the other side. So we're doing what is called the crisscross. Keeping the elbows open. Now, rotate to the right and stop. Place your left hand to your right knee. Pull yourself higher. Deepen the rotation. Flatten the abdominals. Lock in. And place your hand behind your head. Isometric rotation. Can you feel those obliques? Switch to the other side. Don't move. Right hand on left knee. Lift, twist, flatten abs, lock in, hands behind your head, no moving. Am I the only one feeling this? Thank goodness. And now let's do another 4 crisscross. Can you feel it? And again. So we've woken up the connections. Come back to the center. Hug your knees in. Woo! And relaxing all the way down. Just turn your head to one side. Beautifully done, guys. Turn your head over to the other side. And bringing your head back to the center. Placing both your feet down, rolling onto your right side, cradling your head with your arm, and just have your knees a little bit bent in front of you. Make sure that you don't have your feet behind you because that arches out your back. Hand onto the shelf of your hip, and then extend that top leg out and flex the foot. So we want to create that straight line, ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, ear. So take a moment to hinge your leg a little bit forward. Can you feel the hip flexors closing? Now take your leg backwards. Can you feel your lumbar spine arching? Find a center point where the hip is open and the lumbar spine is stable. Keep it there. Make sure that your leg is lifted to the same height as your pelvis, and then double check that your underneath oblique is connected because we don't want the spine moving. The spine needs to stay stable. So again, this is isometric work, but for a slightly different bum muscle. This is now called the gluteus medius, which is on the side of the hip. Now from here, lift your leg up a little bit higher. Guys, make sure that your leg stays in parallel. So you're not doing any kind of ballet dancer's turnout. Have you still got your bottom obliques connected? And if you put your fingers on your pants, you should feel little wrinkles on your pants there. And that's going to tell you that you're lifting from the crease of the hip, which is what we're looking for. So we are shortening and contracting and holding gluteus medius. We're going to stay here for another 3, 2, 1. Let your foot come down, but don't let it rest on the floor. And then lift your leg up again and tighten the bottom oblique. And again, lower. So I don't know about you guys, but I can feel my gluteals working immediately on this first repetition. Sometimes, if I go straight into this exercise, it takes me like a few repetitions to feel it. The isometric work triggers the brain immediately, or signals the brain immediately that this is what we're working. And I think we're just going to do one more time. We don't need to do overkill. Lift up and hold it. Point your toe. Bend your knee in. Holy smokes. How are you doing? And now, bring your knees up as if you're going to be sitting in a chair. Now, cradle the back of your neck. Let's do 1 thoracic rotation. So arm comes forward. We're going to lift up, open up across the chest, and we're going to go all the way back. And we're just going to stay here for a few breaths. Let your knees and your hips move if they need to. And again, this is not isometric work, this is a stretch. There's a different emphasis. And then on your next breath, bringing that arm all the way up and forward. And now, just press yourself up into a seated position. Bring yourself into a little ball shape, feet off the ground, hands to the knee, tucking yourself in, and you are holding this position. So again, this is considered an isometric position because you are engaging abdominals and hip flexors, and as a matter of fact, hamstrings as well, in order to be able to hold the shape of the body. So stay in this position and just try taking your hands away from your knees for a moment. Can you feel how that highlights all the muscles that are working? Put your hands back and see if you can keep those same connections. Take a breath and then placing feet all the way down. So let's do the other side. So you're going to come into a side line, this time lying on your left side. Or as long as you're doing the other side, it really doesn't matter. So hand onto the shoulder of your hip. Top leg extends out long, flexing your foot. Energy through your crown. Feel the connection into that bottom oblique. Double check the height of your leg, and then just move your leg a little bit forward so you can really feel the shortening of the hip flexor. And then move your leg backwards. Feel the arching of your lumbar spine. And then bring your leg into the center so that you've got the best alignment for yourself. So a few breaths here, starting to wake up gluteus medius. Keeping the obliques engaged, and see if you can lift that top leg up a little bit higher. So now you're getting that shortening of gluteus medius. Put your finger on your pants and see if you can find those wrinkles. So you know that you're working from the crease of your hip. And then you can place your hand back. So it's really nice to have your hand on the shelf of your pelvis here because you can monitor if your pelvis starts to move around. One more breath in and out. And I think we're ready to move. So you're going to bring your leg down with control. And then you're going to bring your leg up again, tightening the underneath oblique. And again, lower. And again, right off the bat on that first one, I could feel those muscles kicking in. So that's the beauty of doing isometric work first. Lower. And lift. Last two. We're not doing lots. Last one. Today we don't need to do lots. And lift up, hold it. Point your toe. Bend your knee in and give your tushies a little bit of a rub. Nicely done, guys. Bring your knees up higher. Arm reaching forward. One thoracic rotation. Opening up across your chest. Reaching it all the way back. Stay here, breathing into the release. And bring your arm all the way up and forward again. And relaxing down. Now this time go directly onto your stomach. So placing your left hand underneath your head, bending the right knee, move your leg if you need to. See if you can grab onto your ankle or your foot, otherwise you can hold onto your hands. And just giving yourself a little bit of a quadricep and a hip release before we go into our cobra. Let go, stretch your leg out, move over to the other side. A little bit of a squeeze with your bum cheeks. And release and let go. Now, you're going to have your legs just slightly separate. So place your hands on either side, elbows down. Hover the tip of your nose and just make sure that your bum cheeks are engaging. Not too much, just to anchor your pelvis. Start to lift up into a baby cobra. And then releasing your chest down again. That's it. So as you lift your eye line, lift your heart, make sure that your two little bottom ribs are still connected. And then releasing down. Two more times, baby cobra. And lower. One more time, baby cobra. And releasing all the way down. Now stay here for a moment. This time as you lift into cobra, you will also lift your legs just off the ground, not too high. Here we go. Cobra with lumbar extension, hip extension, and then lower legs and chest at the same time. And again, eye line, heart, legs, and releasing all the way down. But it's really about creating space. You shouldn't feel like you're crunching anything, right? So I've got a very mobile back, just so you know. So I can come up quite high. You don't have to come high at all. One more time, lift. And then everything comes down. Now we're going to add a hovering of the arms at the same time. Find your space, take a breath, and then cobra, legs, and arms, and then everything comes down. And again, you can decide if you're breathing in or breathing out at any given point. Okay, so see what works for you. I personally like to inhale as I come up because I almost feel like I'm inflating my lungs like balloons, which is going to help me lift up. Now on this last one, lift up into your basic back extension and don't move. We're staying here for 3 breaths in and out. This is our isometric work for our back extensors today. Beautiful job keeping abdominals connected. Make sure that you're breathing, by the way. And then on your next breath, releasing everything down. Firmly root your hands to the ground, coming all the way up onto all fours. That's it. And then let's go into one cat stretch. Rounding your spine up. Moving your hips halfway back. Keep your hands where they are for now. You can stay here or you can add little pulses. One more. Come all the way forward. Lengthen to neutral, and we'll go to transition to a downward facing dog. Tuck toes. Lifting hips and knees all the way up. Pedaling the heels. Finding that release along the back of the leg. And then send both heels towards the ground. And on your next breath, just walk the feet halfway forward. Line up your toes. Walk your fingertips back to your feet. And then just relax over. If you want to, you can hold hands to opposite elbows. You can keep your knees bent. Or you can straighten them if you feel you want to get that little extra hamstring release. Just hang like a ragdoll for a moment. Releasing your arms and start rolling all the way up. And lifting tall. Rolling your shoulders back and around. And then pause right here. Just allow your gaze to soften, eyes to close. A little bit of a shifting forwards and backwards. Feeling an awareness of all the muscles that have woken up today, that have engaged and stabilized. Center yourself on your 2 feet. And a little bit of a shifting from side to side. And again, center yourself on your feet. Blink your eyes open. Take one inhale, reaching all the way up. Fingertips touch. Exhale, open wide. And roll your shoulders back. Feel good. I can already feel like I'm getting stronger. Honestly, just like a week of moving, okay?
Thank you.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.